Teaching number 196. Here is the Father who comes to manifest himself to the people who have invoked the name of God so much throughout the ages, saying that they love him. I see you cry. Abundant tears run down your faces, but they are not for love of my divinity, they are of pain, because your life is full of bitterness. It is not a cross that you carry, it is a heavy burden that you no longer can bear. It is that you forgot the lesson, you closed the book and you separated from the mandates that it contains. O people, who hear this word. Not only the nations have been divided, there is also division among you. Did you forget that in 1931 you swore unification and obedience before the Ark of the New Covenant? You are putting your orders and your will before mine, but I will destroy your traditions and imperfect laws so that my work may be known and my law may be fulfilled. I will touch with my justice selfishness, pride and every bad seed. The lords will disappear from this people and only the disciples, the servants, will remain. It would be better to be raised from the earth than to want to rise above this people, oppressing them. The year of 1947 is coming to an end, and on the last day, it is necessary that you form a firm purpose of fulfillment so that it is not my justice that makes you recognize the path. Do you not want this teaching to come out and be known by humanity? Truly I tell you that there are those who, instead of facilitating the advancement of my doctrine, have risen up blocking my path along the way. I am touching the heart of humanity so that it knows this revelation, so that it receives it pure, as I have given it to you and entrusted it to you. If anyone is dissatisfied with possessing a branch of the tree, give it back to me, it is better that I have it back than you let it shrivel. The Father tells you this, because I contemplate enclosures that have closed their doors to charity, and out there the needy sob and I contemplate the dead. Servants of my work, listen to my mandates and comply with them, because no one will impede your progress. No one will be able to prevent this divine plan from being carried out, of which I have entrusted a part to you. If you wish to present this work free of all profanations, which you will be able to achieve in these last 3 years of my communication. By 1950 stiff-necked men will come, who before the greatness of my manifestation and the cleanliness of your practices, will fall surrendered before their Lord. Brief is the term, however it is enough for you to put aside materiality, fanaticism and all the scourges that your worship suffers from. My doctrine is spiritual, that is why you call yourselves spiritualists, but, have you meditated and studied what it contains? Do you think it is fair that by preaching spiritualism with words, you proclaim the opposite with your actions? How great and clean you will see my work if you take advantage of this light that I am sending you. It depends on those who preside over each community whether or not their people rise up and comply with my mandates. Even if my golden pens do not write, I leave my words imprinted with indelible letters on the conscience of this people. And when you are at a greater height of spirituality, your eyes will be amazed contemplating the prodigies that I will do among you. You will not suffer for the departure of my word, because you will feel my presence close to you. When you no longer listen to me through the spokesman, your spiritual gifts will develop more, with which you will have great joy and faith, because you will have me by inspiration, by clairvoyance, by prophetic dreams, by intuition. You will enjoy listening to your own word and seeing your sick being healed. The spiritual realm, possessing ever more light and greater power, will be the good protector and the faithful guardian of the people so that everyone may comply and work in my countryside. I only contemplate spirits without making a distinction between those who are incarnated in matter, or those who are disincarnated. This is the light of the sixth seal, released by my charity at this time. From that time I sent you Jesus, my divine Son, the only one on earth who has complied with my commandments and fulfilled the will of his Father, but I sent him to convert men into his disciples and thus, imitating the Master, glorify the Father. I sent him to you and he gave you life, but how did you return him to me? Today I come to you again, not as a man, but as a spirit of consolation. Take advantage of my charity and fully awaken to the light, so that your heart becomes sensitive. Let your spirit lead a life of submission and obedience and become my disciple. Believe in this word that I have delivered to you through the spokespersons and prepare yourselves so that you may feel its essence and touch its truth. These conduits that I have used so that my word reaches you, in truth they are not perfect, but they have been chosen by me, to carry out my designs and thus fulfill my promise to return among you, but this manifestation that you are perceiving today will disappear in 1950, to give way to a higher, purer, more spiritual manifestation, and that will be the communication from spirit to spirit, in which the Son will be able to converse with his celestial Father, without the need for mediation of men or spirits, and will come to receive their inspiration without any limitation. For now, be content with hearing me in this way, while you prepare yourselves to be able to penetrate the new time. Analyze my word and saturate yourselves with its essence. Let the Spirit rise so that it reaches me and can drink at the fountain until it quenches its thirst. Do not stop to judge the spokesmen that I use or try to find out why they have been chosen, only I know their beginning and their destinies in this delicate role that is for some the realization of a lofty ideal and for others represents a restitution and a very great trial. You can all come to serve me and take advantage of the time I have granted you. Your mission is to stop evil, clear the path of those who will come after you, and lay the foundations of a humanity that knows how to love me and identify with me. At all times I have come to give you opportunities to work, so that you can take one more step on the path of your evolution. I have given you instruction and the means of ascent so that you can approach me, but how many, after having reached the end of the road, after having returned to the spiritual valley, they have analyzed their life and have found it vain, without merit, then they have asked me for another opportunity to restore the dignity and grace to their spirit, of which they stripped from it, and thus present me with a better fulfillment. I have granted them the requested gift and they have returned to earth. I have endowed the spirit with intelligence and will, so that it takes the right path and knows how to avoid the traps and dangers that lie in wait for it at every moment. I have allowed good and evil to exist, so that man, out of love for me and out of respect for himself, may overcome and turn away from evil. If there were only one path and you, unconsciously, carried by the force of natural laws, fulfilled your mission, as do the stars, the elements or inferior beings, you would not have any merit in walking the path of virtue, there would be no struggle, no aspirations, no experiences in your spirit. Therefore, I marked out a path of evolution and I placed you at the beginning of it, so that you would ascend by your own efforts, so that all of you would know that path, which is the only one by which you can reach me. Take my teaching and do not prevaricate, nor imitate the bad disciples. If you carry in you gifts and graces with which you can guide your brothers, relieving them of many of the evils that afflict them today, do not conceal anything from them, let your spirit speak with the experience it has reached, and thus you will achieve within this great work that which corresponds to you. You will rescue the sheep that have been lost, and you will help the shepherd that I am, to gather in the sheepfold the complete number of them. In this way you will have cultivated the merits that I have asked of you so that you may reach the elevation of your spirit. On this date, as dawn breaks, many spirits rise in prayer for what they call their dead. I tell you that it is very good that you remember them, that you have for them a thought of gratitude, of love, of admiration, but what is not right is that you mourn them as if they were goods that you had lost, nor that you consider them dead, because if in those moments when your eyes shed tears for them and your chest sighs for those who departed, if you could contemplate them, you would be amazed at the light that illuminates them and the life that animates them, then you would exclaim, "Truly they are the living and we are the dead." Isn't it true that you live confused when you cry before an inert body, while you forget that a spirit lives, vibrates and throbs? I must also tell you that if instead of dedicating a day according to this tradition to those who passed into the spiritual life, you were always united with them by the bond of prayer, their being invisible, but real in your life, and their beneficent influence, would be felt by you throughout your existence, in your struggles, in your trials and also in your kind moments. And those beings, for their part, would have the opportunity to cooperate with you, in your noble works and undertakings, with which they would acquire more light. I said at that time, let the dead bury their dead. If you carefully and lovingly analyze my words, you will see how right I was to tell you. I see how you all carry in your heart and in your memory the last image, the material vision of your loved ones. The one who departed in childhood, you remember as a child, you remember the one who left this life already in the old age of the envelope as an old man, as well as the one who detached a body exhausted by pain or in the midst of a painful agony. That is how you always remember him, and it is necessary that you meditate on the difference that exists between what is body and what is spirit, so that you conclude that there where the man dies, the the spirit is born to a new life, where some eyes are closed to the light of the world, others open themselves to the divine light that illuminates the eternal life of the spirit. Once I told you that man was an idolater by inclination, and by this worship of the dead gives palpable proof of his idolatry. But my doctrine, like a dawn of infinite beauty, has appeared in your life, dispelling the shadows of a long night of ignorance in which men have always lived in confusion, and this light, ascending towards infinity like a divine star, will radiate its most beautiful lights on your spirit, in a preparation that will take you with a sure step to enjoy that life in which all of you will be able to penetrate through your elevation. You will no longer be one of those who weep bitterly for those who have departed to go and dwell in a better life, nor will you be one of those who, being already in spirit, weep for those who have remained, or for having lost the body that for a lifetime served as your envelope. There are beings who suffer in anguish when contemplating the disintegration of the body that they loved so much, but you must be one of those who, when contemplating that the end of a mission carried out by that human body has arrived, raises a hymn of grace to the Creator. Today I come to forgive you of all your mistakes and at the same time to show you a page of the divine book of life, where you can illuminate your spirit and your mind so that you do works worthy of those who have taught you. You are assuming a great responsibility before humanity, and as you receive more and more lessons from me, that responsibility is increasing, because you are the people who will speak spirituality to the world. In you I will leave implanted among humanity the perfect way to communicate with me without rites or idolatrous forms, simply from spirit to spirit. This blessed seed that is already in your heart will be the bread that you must share with your brothers and will also be the spiritual heritage that you bequeath to your children. When I said to you, love one another, do not think that it was only with respect to your fellow men, but from one world to another, but now I tell you, that when you think of those who have left, do not feel them distant and do not imagine them insensitive either. Do not love or remember the dead, you should only remember them alive, because they live in eternity and are close to you. Truly I say to you that you are the people of Israel who, passing through different stages, have reached this time without being able to say that you have fulfilled the mandate that has weighed on you since the earliest times. You have not become spiritualized, because I still hear your laments when you see your own depart, whom you confuse with the dead. That is why I come to give you light, inhabitants of the earth, who need it more than those who have gone to the afterlife, because you are the dead, while they live in eternity. To those beings it is granted by me to approach you at the moment of your elevation, but I tell you not to remember them in the human form they had, because now they are spirits of light. Do not lean only to the traditions of the world, rejecting the grace that is being poured out on you at this time. See that while here you can waste time, the spirits reach progress in the hereafter. Master the body so that you can take advantage of this opportunity for liberation and spiritual elevation, because I will call you back to spirit and you will comply with the law of evolution and your spirit and will witness how the body disintegrates back into the bowels of the earth. If you do not want to reach the threshold of eternity engulfed in turmoil, fight for your advancement, make merits in the world by bringing estranged people closer together, praying and working for the peace of nations, spreading charity and love among your brothers. There are still those who tell me, Lord, if you are the omnipotent God, give me proof of your power, and I tell you, how small you are speaking like this to the one who, just by wanting it, could make the earth disintegrate. I come to make myself felt in the spirit, which is the one that has to reach me and the one that can recognize my essence. Your body is matter whose weaknesses I forgive. Purify yourselves, O people, so that you come to harmonize your spirit with its matter, and thus, by your own merits, you rise towards me. Let humanity search for me through various religions and sects, do not judge them because you also do not perform perfect works. Let the idolaters, descendants and imitators of Aaron, forgers of gods, continue to worship their different deities through idols and images, they will wake up from their deep sleep. It is up to you to sow the seed of spirituality, demonstrating to men that interior worship is the most pleasing to the Father. This is how men will feel the presence of the spiritual and the divine without demanding to see to believe, as in these moments you have felt the presence of those spiritual beings whom you remember with love and gratitude and who have approached you like a perfume or an incentive that invites you to follow the path that they are tracing for you. Those beings approach humanity no longer feeling the longing for the vanities of this world and only to awaken in the spirits the desire to attain the life that awaits them. Those who mourn the absence of loved ones, are the dead who watch over their dead, are those who, materialized in their ignorance, do not understand the meaning of life and claiming to believe in the immortality of the spirit, but with their tears and their mourning show that they do not have an atom of faith, because they cry for those who they think are dead, but truly live, only because they do not see them, or because their body has disappeared. Stay in peace, within the mandate of Christ, who once again tells you, love one another. Come to me and be strong. Rise to the life of grace. Become my disciples, messengers of the good news. The world demands my presence and I am going to make my word reach it through you. There are those who have been waiting for me for a long time, those who have sensed that it is time for my presence in the world to channel the spirits towards progress and spirituality. But before sending yourselves, you will have to cleanse yourselves and cultivate yourselves. If sorrows overwhelm you and you feel tired, remember that I am your Cyrenean and I help you with the cross so that you do not fall under its weight. If you pray and give yourself to fulfillment, there will be no test or obstacle that will make you weak. You will go with a smile on your lips and hope in your heart. You will not fear tomorrow and all bad judgment or intention against you will vanish. Do not deny me, even if you are greatly tested, because you do not know if it is my will to grant you a prodigy to testify that you are my disciples, at the culminating moment of the test. Hear and analyze my parable. A crowd of hungry, sick and naked people approached a house in search of charity. The owners of the house prepared it continuously to feed the walkers at their table. The landowner, owner and lord of those lands, approached to preside over the banquet. Time passed and the needy always found sustenance and shelter in the house. One day that man saw that the water on the table was cloudy, that the delicacies were not healthy and pleasant and that the tablecloths were stained. Then, calling those responsible for preparing the table, he said to them, "Have you looked at the canvases and tasted the delicacies and drunk the water?" "Yes, sir," they replied. "Then, before feeding these hungry, make your children eat, and if they find the food good, give these visitors." The children took the bread, the fruits and whatever was on the table, and the taste was unpleasant and there was discontent and rebellion against them and they complained harshly. The landowner then said to those who were waiting, "Come under a tree, that I am going to offer you the fruits of my garden and the delicacies that are pleasing to the palate," and to those in charge he said thus, "Clean the stains, remove the bad taste from the lips of those who you have deceived, make amends, because I have commanded you to receive all the hungry and thirsty, to offer them the best delicacies and clean water, and you have not complied. Your work is not pleasant to me." The lord of those lands prepared the banquet, the bread was substantial, the fruits healthy and ripe, the water fresh and comforting, and then he invited those who were waiting, beggars, sick and lepers, and all were fed and their joy was great. Soon they were healthy and free of illnesses and decided to stay on the farm. They began to work the land, they became farmers, but they were weak and did not know how to guide themselves by the advice of that gentleman. They mixed different seeds and the harvest degenerated. The wheat was choked by weeds, and when harvest time came, the landowner approached them and said, "What are you doing? If I only entrusted you with the care of the house to receive visitors. The sowing that you have done is not good, others are in charge of the land. Go and clean the fields of thistles and weeds and return to guard the house. The source has dried up, the bread does not sustain and the fruits are bitter. Do with the travelers what I did with you, and when you have fed and healed those who approach you, when you have made the pain of your fellow men disappear, I will have you rest in my mansion." My divine spirit comes to give you this word to guide you on the path and warn you of the dangers that lie in wait for you. You are living the third era, the time of spirituality. I come to deliver peace to your heart, faith and hope, and it is my divine will, that you give shelter in your heart to this message. Present your troubles to the Lord. He has formed you and to him you must return. It is time for you to study the word of the Master, time also for you to unify yourselves in a single thought, so that you remain tied to this sublime love. Each of you carries a mandate and you have not yet fulfilled it. Do not abandon the teaching, take it with love, so that tomorrow you do not fall into error that would stop the march of your spirit and submerge you in the muddy waters of confusion. My truth manifests itself more clearly when I contemplate you prepared, but you are the ignorant, those who have not yet understood me. But I also tell you, you are the ones who are closest to the Father, because you are on the path of spirituality, a path that has no end. My peace be with you.